So this webinar is titled Voting, Don't Be Ignorant. Well, comedian George Carlin, whose shows were for older teens and adults, had this interesting thing to say. Governments don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. That's against their interest. They want obedient workers. People are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, and just dumb enough to passively accept it. That's pretty good insight for someone traveling on the comedy circuit. He actually finds himself aligned with Benjamin Franklin. A nation of well-informed men who have been taught to know and prize the rights which God has given them cannot be enslaved. It's in the region of ignorance that tyranny begins. Well, what about ignorance? Here's the state of things. On American universities, an average student scores 54 on a basic civics exam. Seniors score 58. Seniors at prestigious schools actually fall from their freshman year and score 52, and professors only score 55. All of these would be in the F category. Well, we may be ignorant, but at least we're confidently ignorant. Patricia Dixon, writer at Stubborn Things, says this: "The most disheartening thing that I have learned about certain young adults is they lack breadth on the issues that they claim to be well informed on. The media and universities are to blame for this. These individuals only learn a set of talking points. When they are presented with facts that destroy the narrative, they just move on to the next talking point without even acknowledging the facts, or they start attacking you. They begin to accuse you of everything that they actually believe, in other words, attempt to put their thoughts in your head. How can a person go through life parroting talking points? What is going to happen to the individual when he or she is faced with reality? And then lastly, and most importantly, what's going to happen to America with these individuals as future leaders?" We're seeing a lot of this happening already today. Let's expand on this a little further. The problem is that there's a large portion of people that have too high an estimation of themselves. They believe they are intelligent and informed, but because of their media consumption and lack of reflection, they are not. They may have information and knowledge, but they do not have wisdom. But in our feel-good culture, where everything's based on a person's feelings or self-perception, actual knowledge does not matter. Just having a feeling you are smart and informed is enough. So we have a situation far worse than a mass of people that do not think. We have a mass of people that think they think, but do not think. The result? Unbounded confidence in their ignorance. It makes me think of 3 movie examples. The first one's WALL-E. Is this the U.S. population where the people in WALL-E simply loafed around and were lazy, and on the video screens the ideas were fed into their minds about the reality of the world? Is it like Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, where the 3 characters enter the Lotus Hotel and they're fed lotus leaves, and eating those leaves keep them in a drug-induced stupor? Is it like The Matrix, where Neo's reality as he knew it was only an illusion fed into his mind? Are we so pop culture and media-centric now that we have lost the ability to think? Well, for the American experiment to continue, an intelligent and informed electorate is required. The basic principle of the American experiment is that it was to be a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. This type of government would not survive if the people did not maintain a constant vigilance and thereby develop what Jefferson called an intelligent and informed electorate. We need to recapture this, the skill of thinking, the skill of discernment, the awareness of what is wisdom and what is foolish, and the mental skill to be aware of propaganda and deception. What about you? Are you an independent thinker, or are you a group thinker simply holding all the popular positions that everyone else in the culture and media hold? Is it easier to just coast with the dominant media culture than to challenge the PC pop culture and think for yourself? Have you ever questioned some aspect of a political party you have voted for in the past? Have you ever explored deeply a social or an economic issue beyond the talking points you have been fed? Is there any universal moral principles that are true for all peoples at all times everywhere? How do you know? Thomas Jefferson said this: "The firmness with which the people have withstood the late abuses of the press, the discernment they have manifested between truth and falsehood, show that they may be safely trusted to hear everything true and false and to form a correct judgment between them. Well, this is only true if the people themselves have wisdom, and so our great challenge is to get wisdom. And there's an ancient proverb that says as much. Getting wisdom is the most important thing you can do. Whatever else you get insight. And this can only happen if we unplug from the dominant media culture and take some time of reflection and study and to look at the deeper things in life. This is U.S. Civics Training. Thanks for listening.